Hello, and welcome to Prentice's Rule, an avenue for discussion, knowledge, and fellowship, with focus on our eyes, the face that surrounds them, and the humanity behind your spectacles. While I am an eye care professional on the path to better understanding, I am not a medical professional, and as such, please seek the advice of a medical professional if needed. A little later in the week than I had intended, and that's okay. Everybody is happy, everybody is healthy, and I am thankful to be here with you today. Um, been on the road, and so just wanted to kind of address cleaning your glasses while you're on the road. We're going to get into a more um, in depth, I guess, cleaning episode where we'll discuss cleaning plastic frames, metal frames, that kind of thing, the value of having an ultrasonic or access to an ultrasonic cleaner. At any rate, cleaning your glasses when on the road. Now, here at home, when I am cleaning my own glasses, I'll use dish soap. I use Dawn, but Palmolive, Ajax, off-brand, whatever the soap that you have at hand is going to dispel more quickly, more readily the grease that can build up on your frames. I am an oily human, and I live in a desert type area. And when winter comes, I switch to the winter lotions, which are always a little thicker, a little heavier, um, all over. I prefer personally to wear my glasses fairly close to my face, and as such, they will gather oils. Even when it's regular lotion, I'm oily, but it'll allow that oil to transfer to the frame, to the lenses, and so I'd prefer to clean it several times throughout the course of a day. Some people don't clean for a length of time, and ultimately, and you'll hear me say this a number of times, you do you, then your optician will fix it. Okay, so when I use dish soap, I'll put a dot or two on my fingers, and I'll actually run that under the running water a little bit. I rinse off initially under running water at the tap, and then I dilute somewhat on my fingers the dish soap so that I can then apply it to the lenses, I can apply it to the frame. I'll go ahead and get it all sudsed, and then I'll rinse all of that off. My frame, I'm not so concerned. If you have a dish towel, that, again, just your frame, I'll use a t-shirt or a paper towel or something to get it. As far as the lenses are concerned, I am more specific of purpose with regard to pulling out a microfiber. Now, any good shop is going to have some manner of supply and should be ready, willing, and able to give to you a cloth or two should you request, should you need. You certainly should be able to pick them up when you're dispensed your new set of glasses or your new set of lenses in your frames, that kind of thing. With regard to one of the manufacturers and each of the manufacturers of anti-reflectives and other types of optical coatings, they're going to give to the optical shop or shops some manner of supply of their brand specific cloths. All of them are a microfiber. I fully believe that many of them come from the same location, and that's fine. What we're looking for is nice and soft and clean. These can be cleaned. You would want to wash them without using fabric softener. I typically will wash them with my towels in a ditty bag, a little nylon mesh bag. Let them run through the wash without having added fabric softener, and then let them air dry. I do have some patients, some customers, who will use a bowl of diluted dish soap, run them through, suds them up, rinse them off, and then let them air dry. Back to the cleaning of the lenses. Ultimately, never wipe your lenses dry. If you're on a hike, pour a little bit of your water, and you should be drinking plenty of water. Pour a little bit of your water on your lenses, and then come back with your cleaning cloth. What I like about the manufacturers is they usually have them wrapped up in a little cellophane. Now, it's not a very durable cellophane, but I'm able to keep using it for a length of time and fold my cloths up, keep it in, and then I can tuck it in a pocket or a backpack, or for those that have them, a purse, or luggage, or something of that nature. That way it'll keep it fairly intact. It won't pick up any of the particulates that or such that you're going to be cleaning off your lenses. Like I said, I live in a desert type area, and so I am constantly with some manner of particulate on my lenses um, over the course of time and wearing throughout the course of a day. It's not like I walk out 5 minutes later, there's something, and we're all having to wear masks and respirators because there's so much stuff in the air, unless there's an inversion, and we'll get into that later. But that's why I always want you rinsing them off, not wiping dry. In a pinch, you do you, and your optician will fix it. If you have access to nothing, just getting some condensation is better than nothing. But I mean, you know, it is not the same as pouring a little bit of liquid and rinsing off anything that's gathered. So after having done that and coming at it with my cloth, I'll then, I typically will fold my cloth back on itself so that the side that I'm using for my lenses is kept fairly intact. I'll reuse these things multiple times over the course of about a week or so. Once they're just kind of pushing things around, I will sequester them to a little plastic cup. I can still use them to wipe off phones, tablets, laptops, keyboard, accessories, that kind of thing. Um, and then once I have enough collected, I'll run them through and get them cleansed. Um, in an absolute pinch, when you find yourself on the road, if there's hand soap available, that's usually a mild enough detergent so that you can use that in the stead of a dish soap. Do not use the volcanic soaps. Do not use the orange. I can never remember what it's called, but it is any of them of that nature are super effective at what they do. They will absolutely take all the grease off, but they're also going to leave scratches. What we're trying to do is preserve as best possible the lenses and their structure and the coatings that we paid for. So that's hand soap, same procedure. Rinse them, get some on your fingers just to make sure. Wash your stuff off, rinse it, dry it off. In an absolute pinch, and I actually had to deal with this not too terribly long ago. If all that you have access to is a bar soap, that's fine. That tends to have thicker emulsifiers, and so you really want to be careful. You don't want to pull up if it's the type that's sat in water or liquid and has some that you can just peel off. Don't use the peel off. Thin that sucker out. And then come back at your lenses. Two, with that type of soap, I tend to be cautious. I don't want to get it gathered where the frame meets the lens. So, two, I would use a lukewarm or a cold water rather than a hot water. The materials from which our lenses are made, some of them will flex in differing temperature conditions. It's imperceptible to the eye. It's imperceptible in most cases until after enough flexing, it's caused the coating to craze is a term that we use. It's almost like a craquelure effect, where you have a layer of paint, and then the top layer has begun to fail, and then you have that kind of crackling throughout. That is crazing of lenses. That is something that when you try to look through, the efficacy of the coating is lost, sometimes all the way. But these are things that you want to keep in mind. So safe travels for those of you going on the road. Know that we're with you, and hope that you aren't flying Frontier, and that you make it to your destinations safely. If you do not have one of these on hand and you're in your travels, I would try to locate an optical shop and see if you can get some. In a pinch, Use a soft cotton cloth, ideally not terry, ideally something with a slightly tighter weave than most dish towels. But if that's what you have, then use it. You know, it's imperative that you keep your glasses clean. Uh, they're not as effective when they're dirty. It is easier to look through a clear lens than it is through an obscured lens. And that's your life lesson for today. Be well. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you back on Monday. Cheers.